Coming up on Mountain News at 6, a Southern Kentucky man already in jail for the death of one child is facing similar charges in another county. Plus, leaders with the Kentucky National Guard assemble a statewide emergency response plan.
And some areas could go back to the 90s by this weekend. Those details coming up as Mountain News at 6 starts now.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
A Southern Kentucky man in jail on charges he killed his girlfriend's daughter is now facing charges in his own baby's death. Jordan Taylor is accused of killing 3-year-old Amora Smallwood. That case is in Whitley County. But now Taylor is facing similar charges in the death of his 6-month-old son in Clay County. WYMT's Phil Pendleton spoke to the Clay County prosecutor about the troubling claims.
I will have things to say.
Gary Gregory's office is a display of the many experiences he's had across many decades.
This is the most innocent person. What's this kid done to anybody?
But nothing could perhaps prepare one for the horrific case of a 6-month-old's death at the hands of another.
We knew that when this happened to this child, you know, he died under suspicious circumstances.
That was in July of 2020, 3 years ago, but it wasn't until the boy's father, Jordan Taylor, was arrested for killing another child in Whitley County that police say evidence linked him to his son's death.
People had kept those thoughts to themselves, as people sometimes do, until they find out about other matters and feel assured that, hey man, this is really going forward.
When I spoke to the Whitley County prosecutor about the Amora Smallwood case, he told me that it was one of the worst child death cases that he had ever seen. A similar sentiment expressed by the prosecutor here in Clay County on the death of this 6-month-old.
You sit and spend many minutes and hours wondering, how could you do something like this to a 6-month-old kid for apparently no reason whatsoever.
The Whitley County case is progressing, and Taylor is expected to answer to the Clay County charges soon.
To make sure that he gets 2 doses of justice, quite frankly.
In Clay County, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
Jordan Taylor is currently being held in the Whitley County Jail. His former girlfriend, Amora Smallwood's mother, is also facing charges in connection to that case. A death investigation is underway after deputies with the Laurel County Sheriff's Office say a 2-year-old boy shot himself. The incident happened just before 9 last night in the southwestern part of Laurel County. After responding, deputies performed first aid on the child. He was taken to the hospital where he was pronounced dead shortly after. The preliminary investigation indicates the child shot himself with a pistol. And last night was not the first shooting involving a child in Laurel County recently. In fact, it's the second incident in the last 3 weeks. You may remember 12-year-old Malachi Moses died after he and a friend were playing with a gun. Tonight, Julia Sandor talked with a gun safety advocate about how you can keep you and your family safe with guns in your home.
But the short of it is, the gun needs to be secured in some form or fashion around children.
It's a tragedy no matter the situation. But it's a tragedy that many responsible gun ownership advocates say is preventable.
I can't think of anyone more precious than a child, than a toddler, and we are all on the same page that we must protect our children. That's what being an American is all about. And so one area we all agree is the importance of safely storing our firearms to protect our children.
Whitney Austin advocates for responsible gun ownership and says the safest way to store your gun is to unload it, lock it, and put it in a separate location than the ammunition. Joshua McFadden says being educated on safe storage can make all the difference. It's just one thing he teaches gun owners.
I mean, you know, we talk about all of our rights, our Second Amendment rights in particular, and what we forget is with those rights come huge responsibilities.
The Laurel County Sheriff's Office says Wednesday night a 2-year-old boy accidentally shot himself with a pistol, later dying at the hospital. Seeing tragedies like this make advocates like Whitney continue working towards change.
Every single day lives can be saved just because someone has learned why they need to safely store.
And again, we can't be 100%, nothing's ever 100%, but we can minimize tragedy.
Julia Sandor, WKYT.
The case in Laurel County is still under investigation. One West Virginia Sheriff's Department is asking for help searching for a man with numerous felony charges. Kelly Klein is who the Mingo County Sheriff's Department is looking for. Klein is wanted for attempted grand larceny, destruction of property, and entry of a building other than a dwelling. If you have any information, you can call the Sheriff's Department at 304-235-0300. The Laurel County Sheriff's Office is looking for a car involved in a hit-and-run crash. That incident happened yesterday afternoon north of London on US 25. The vehicle is a black Ford Expedition or Explorer with chrome center caps. If you have any information about this, you're asked to call the Sheriff's Office at 606-864-6600 or message them on their Facebook page. State police are investigating a reported stabbing in Pike County after receiving a 911 call yesterday. Investigators with KSB responded to a home on Marbone Creek Road in Elkhorn City and confirmed they found a man with a stab wound. Following an investigation, officials say 42-year-old Jeffrey Coleman of Shelbyana had non-life-threatening injuries from the stab wound and was taken to a hospital for treatment.
We are still welcoming in some drier air across the mountains as we go into this evening after a soggy Wednesday across the region. Most of us are dry right now, but a few more spotty showers cannot be ruled out, especially near the Kentucky, Tennessee, and Virginia borders. A heavier shower not too far away from Prater in Buchanan County. Also watching out for a few light sprinkles near US 119 in southern Pike County, stretching into portions of Harlan County, a heavier shower there, and a few more spotty sprinkles into Bell County at this hour as well. But again, most of us are starting to dry out as this cold front continues pushing off to the south, and as it does that, that will welcome in some drier air behind it, and that will continue as we go into tonight, also as we get into your Friday as well. Those temperatures fall into the middle 60s as you wake up on Friday. Again, only a small chance of a stray shower. Most of us are dry tonight. Watching out though for possibly some dense fog as you wake up on your Friday morning. But notice we are tracking more showers and storms on Saturday, also on Sunday, and some of those could be a little bit heavy as well. All those details on the way in just a few minutes. Steve?
All right, Cameron, thanks. It's no secret that the Commonwealth has been hit with some historic natural disasters in recent years. Now the Kentucky National Guard is creating a way to prepare for disasters before the next one happens. WYMT's Madison Carmouche has more about the Guard's county outreach program.
The Kentucky National Guard traveled to all 120 counties in the state to prepare specific emergency plans for each county.
That's kind of the goal there was, hey, this is what we have, this is what we can offer you. Now tell us about your county so we can kind of get an idea of what we need to do, to prepare to be able to help your county.
The flooding in eastern Kentucky last summer inspired the Guard to start collecting data for the county outreach program.
A lot of the lessons learned that we took to other counties to say, hey, be prepared for this because you're going to deal with it. Well, those were lessons that we learned in eastern Kentucky.
The Kentucky National Guard met with officials in all counties to ask them what they believe they would need on their worst day.
So that if we get a phone call at 4 in the morning and a large scale tornado has hit, a county in Kentucky, we can pull our notes out and go, okay, we already know that they're going to be lacking in law enforcement. They need help. They may need help with law enforcement.
First Sergeant Jason Rhodes says now that the surveys are complete, his team will hand the program to another team for the next steps.
They're going to spend the next year digging through all the data that we collected, looking for trends in the data, revising our operational plans that we have already created in the state to be more beneficial based off of the information that we've collected.
Madison Carmouche, WYMT Mountain News.
Sergeant Rhodes says talking to all of the county officials in the state helped them learn about what kinds of accommodations counties can make when they are lacking something. Some Kentucky lawmakers are asking the Biden administration to make a correction to a federal bill that would defund some outdoor educational programs. The 2022 bipartisan Safer Communities Act withholds funding from schools that have archery or hunting programs. Officials say Kentucky has more than 100,000 students in those programs. Attorney General Daniel Cameron is also demanding a change, saying in part, quote, President Biden doesn't like shooting sports. and Kentucky kids shouldn't pay the price for this administration's poor policy preferences. A Laurel County artist is using her passion to raise money for the widow and son of a fallen police officer. George Ellen Jackson is raffling off a painting she did of Officer Logan Medlock and his father at an art show in London this Saturday. Officer Medlock was killed in the line of duty last October. Jackson heard the crash that killed Medlock from her house that night.
So the next morning, you know, I found out who it was. It kind of bothered me because I've met him a few times before, and he's always been really nice, you know, and stuck out to me. So then when we decided to do this, and I thought, what, you know, the art show here, I thought, what a better way to get the community to pull together and help raise money, you know, for him and his family.
Raffle tickets can be purchased for $5 at the London Police Department or the day of the raffle at the London Farmers Market.
Well, a few more showers are possible into this evening, but drier air is on the way. That full forecast coming up. Plus,
we talk with one local college president as she gets ready to step down.